player, hate the game. So, back to the story. When I was young, I would pursue women for sex through dating. So, basically, what that means is I didn't understand the concept of meeting a woman and having sex with her unless you were in a relationship. It's not that I really wanted a relationship that young, but I felt it understood that if it was just a part of the process. Man sees woman, a man approaches woman, man dates woman, man and woman have sex. Rinse and repeat. I looked at sex as something that a man wanted and something that a woman gifted a man. I guess you can say like this: the gift from a woman is a gesture to the man saying, I think you're high value and I'm going to give my body to you now. Because sex is as close as you can get to someone, you're actually inside the other person. So there's a difference between touching and being inside when you guys are inside of each other. You guys are one being, so I would think that that was the way a woman showed you were high value and she gave it up to you. Now, I understood women like sex and enjoy sex when they had it, but I haven't got to the point where I knew that women desired sex. So my first sexual experiences were pretty much relationships that I had no interest in, but I just had interest, invested my time so that I can get sex. I'm totally transparent here, guys. So I'm not telling you what I'm doing was right or wrong. I'm merely telling you how I felt, why I felt, and where my mind said was the time as a young man who was trying to get it in. I had a few experiences sexually random ones. I remember this one in particular. Now, she was different from the rest. Every woman that had made sex with, minus the first experience, I will meet a woman, we would talk on the phone hours on end. There was no texting, there was no instant messaging once you got off the phone. You were not talking to the girl until the next day, afternoon, at that. So you had to get your gun, your phone game on, and say any and everything to seal the deal. So when you actually hung out with that woman in person, you were going to get in. I'm talking every slick word. I remember the voicemail I have prints on there. I would try to be seductive as possible, and even still, I would have relationships. So, one particular woman I met, she paged me. If you don't know what a pager is, it was a device that people would call from the payphone, just for you to let you know that they want to talk to you. It sounds like a dinosaur bone, like a fossil, but this is really how it was back then. So, to make the story even more funny, was the fact that this woman was younger than me. You would automatically assume that if I'm getting turned out, I'll be getting turned out by an older woman, but actually, she was younger. So, at the time, I was 17 years old. She was 15 years old. This was a spur situation that I ever had, that the woman was the sexual predator and not me. It's not the fact that we had sex or we had sex fast. It's the fact that I was trying to pursue my boyfriend energy because that's what I knew. And she basically let me know to stop playing around. Let's go in. She was about 5'5", 136 pounds. Don't mind me being exact. I'm very particular when it comes to numbers and stats and things of that nature. And I have a memory for certain things that involve patterns and such. She was one of the only chocolate women I found attractive also. I was imprinted from whom I was attracted to. I had a crush on Felicia Rashad, and I used only to want to date women like that. When I met this woman, she was chocolate, but she was sexy, so she was my chocolate imprint because she wasn't the last chocolate one that I had. I remember she had a plum bottom. I couldn't wait to touch. In my mind, I was thinking 3 weeks. What I predicted to be 3 weeks ended up being less than 24 hours. She texts me and tells me that she wants me to come through in the morning. I did my normal routine: get up, listen to my favorite jams, played a little Super Nintendo, had a cup of coffee. Yes, I was drinking coffee young like that. Don't ask me why. In those days, I would have my outfits laid out on the bed. I'm a little lazy now. I just buy clothes that match. But back then, I would literally have every outfit laid out on the bed before I went to sleep. Or on special occasions, like let's see, Great America, I have the shoes too, and the accessories out. So the most important part is me having my clothes out, faking going to school. Let's just say I had an extra pep in my step. Getting up, putting on the nice new outfit that I never wore before, meeting this chocolate honey, which had a plum behind, that was probably the best one I had at the time. The funny thing is, I was a little nauseous because this was the first situation where I had no control. I was used to that late night exchange sneak wake up call, laugh about our favorite shows, talk about what teachers we hated things such as that. She literally beat me. Oh, I called back that night. She said she thought I was cute and she wanted me to come over. That was it. No Casanova, MacDaddy lines for her. No soft, genuine, or judicial music playing in the background. I didn't even get a chance to put my foot on the walls and tie myself out in the phone cord. Mind you, I am a control freak, so this situation seems so easy that I almost was scared. Matter of fact, let me stop lying. I was scared. I felt like if she was so dominant and straightforward that I wouldn't be ethical enough to satisfy her in bed. Let me give you a fun fact that I forgot to mention. I actually didn't find out that she was younger than me until maybe a year or two after the fact. Now, I'm not making excuses for my behavior, and we were both minors, and I was going to hit it anyway. But her sexual energy and her assertiveness made her feel more dominant and experienced than me, which I assume it's because she was older than me. Even then, dating, I never really focused on the age. It was more of a chemistry, dude. So I gave my mom a hug and grabbed my lunch fake like I was going to school, which really wasn't too hard for me to do. I caught the 51 bus, which was the same bus I caught to the school anyway. The only difference is I was going away from the food school and not towards, but the path of the bus stop was still the same. So, on the way on the bus ride, I'm just thinking about all my top 10 Casanova moves. What cool shit I'm going to say that's going to turn her on and initiate sex with at least the opportunity for sex. See, back then, when you got intimate with a woman, you weren't necessarily going all the way every time. First base, second base, first, second, third base. The first base, then an argument. Usually, things wouldn't get cracking until maybe the third or fourth time. The first time will be fill out stage, where a woman says that she doesn't get physical with guys until they're her boyfriend, aka me, in training. Or that she had to be comfortable, which are two actual facts. No bullshit. But that's the game I knew. So I got over there, and when I got there, she opened the door in lingerie. Mind you, and I really thought she was grown at this point because at the time I haven't had a woman do that before. Even women who I dated, I made my girlfriend meet their parents and everything. They still never greeted me in with lingerie on until I met this woman. There was no 30-minute makeout session. I didn't have to go from breast to the bottom or to the thighs and to the inside. No, not this time. She just went down. She went down and she went fast. I was oddly turned on by how assertive she was because I was so used to being in control. Even though she wasn't in a submissive position, she was dominating me, and I knew it. Who is showing me things I haven't seen before in a way that I didn't know was real life and not just the movies. XXX movies that are. She stroked me